What's up, everybody? This is your weekly AI tech news with myself, Cyrus Harbin, of course, my incredible co-host, Ashley, the queen of AI. We're covering all of the latest and greatest news in the tech industry, AI, robotics, beef with the billionaires, all of the things that you care about and all the things that you need to know to make sure that you are industry ready for everything that's happening. That being said, y'all, we got a lot of amazing topics to cover. This has been a really incredible week in the industry. Some good news, some bad news, but the news that it is that you need to know at the end of the day. So for everybody that's tuning in, make sure that you let us know as you're joining two things. One, make sure y'all go ahead and hit that like button as y'all are joining. Only thing that we ask for is to hit that like button. Y'all know it helps the algorithm. It helps our platform be able to grow and expand, because the goal is for us to grow this further so that way we can invite on some real heavy hitters in the industry that you want to have on the platform. So make sure you hit that like button. Only thing that we ask for. Of course, you can go ahead and subscribe, all that good stuff too, but that's up to you. The only thing that ain't up to you is hitting that like button. No, but jokes aside though, so y'all look down in the description below, because there's going to be a lot of people joining in. There's going to be asking questions. In the description below, you're going to see different links for a variety of different things. Some of those links are going to be including doing a free consultation, a free AI consultation with Ash, where she is actually she's actually an AI specialist. I'm going to allow her to talk about that a little bit more, but she's an AI specialist. She'll be able to do a free AI consultation with her. For those of y'all that are looking to be able to scale or break into the tech industry, click any of the links that we have down below to actually help you access our tech career quiz. Or if you actually know what you want to do in tech, you also could just tap in with one of the links there. So that way you could tap in with our team and they'll be able to assist you out with breaking in the tech industry. Aside from that, we have the largest tech community, a community of almost 6,000 professionals and techies. It's a free community. Make sure you click the link below so that way you can join. We are constantly doing daily updates on tech news. We're doing shout outs of different companies that are hiring. People are posting different referrals. And also we do different private trainings throughout the week to help everybody be able to scale in their tech career or tech business. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my co-host and then we'll get started. But also, y'all, in the comments, let us know either what you do in tech or what it is that you want to do in the tech industry. And also let us know what piece of tech news you heard about this week or AI news that you want to hear us talk about or that you think is the most shocking, at least. We want to hear from y'all in the comments. Ash, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you.
Yeah, I love that. Most definitely, guys. Let's hear from you. Tap into the comments. So happy to be here on this Saturday. There is no better time to get into tech and AI. As you guys already know, what I do best is accelerated AI solutions for professionals and business owners. So if you're interested in transitioning into AI and tech and not really sure where you want to go, I'm your gal. Or if you're looking for accelerated AI automation solutions, definitely tap the link below. So we have some people popping into the chat here. Thanks so much, the Harris Tech Pivot in Tech Sales 1 year anniversary. Congratulations. Love that.
Yeah, happy anniversary. It's our anniversary. All right, good stuff. Yeah, so everybody else, let us know what it is you do in tech, want to do in tech, but also let us know, what have you heard about this week? The only thing you can't comment about is the TikTok things. We all know about that. Let us know what tech news, AI news, robotics news you heard about this week that you think is most interesting, and maybe we'll be able to cover it during this talk. That being said, we're going to go ahead and jump into the reason that y'all are here, because we got a lot of news to cover in only a little bit amount of time. And so we're going to go ahead and get straight into it. So look. Oh, man, I'm actually at the wrong piece of news. Okay, cool. Here we go. All right, so look. Big tech news, censorship, or national security. The clock is ticking for TikTok in the U.S., and Trump is back in the spotlight, pushing to extend the deadline for its potential ban. This isn't just about a social media app. This could redefine how America handles foreign tech companies and their influence on culture and privacy. So with over 150 million users in the US, TikTok is more than entertainment. It's a data gold mine. Some call it a digital Trojan horse, while others see it as scapegoating in a global tech war. The real question is, if TikTok falls, what happens next to our favorite platforms with foreign ties? So the question I have for y'all is, do you think banning TikTok is about protecting national security, or is it setting a dangerous precedence for government control over the apps that we use? Definitely want to hear from y'all. Ash, we'll go ahead and get started with you. What do you think? What do you think is about to happen? It's supposed to be tomorrow, But they're saying since Monday's a national holiday, Martin Luther King Day, shouts out to Martin Luther King and all the Martin Luther King Jr. and the impact that he made. That being said, Trump is saying he might want to try to give it an extension, but TikTok said they're planning on shutting it down. They said they're completely shutting down, even though they're not supposed to shut down. It's just that their app isn't supposed to update. TikTok said, yo, we're just shutting down. So what do you think? I mean, we're less than 24 hours away. What do you think is going to be happening tomorrow? And also, do you believe this to protect our national security? Or do you really believe that Zuckerberg and a few other social media platforms are low-key just hating?
Yeah, it's a capitalist nation, as we all know. And so I think that the motives are aligning directly with that. And so, they did put a lot of pressure on TikTok to sell the organization. And so there are a lot of people who are now interested in buying it, including Kevin O'Leary and a lot of other people. Mr. Beast has even mentioned it. So it's definitely an interesting time. I do also, as all of us see, the natural interest aspect, where, of course, there is going to be some national security concerns. However, we do also see that recently Trump has initiated negotiations with Xi Jinping. It's the leader of China. And so apparently they have come to a conclusion that, they want peace and collaboration. And so with that, perhaps it may be put on hold, but we will see. I believe that, there's a huge economy that's driving TikTok. And so it does make a lot of sense from a capitalist standpoint. However, the national security, if they, China has everything that they need to, retaliate against the US if they really needed to. However, we're about collaboration these days, right? What do you think, Cyrus?
Man, I don't nobody get mad at me. I want TikTok gone. I want it out of here. I want it out of here. Not for the reasons that we're discussing. They're selfish reasons. It's just because if TikTok is gone, that's one less social media platform that myself and my team have to worry about. Because TikTok was a social media platform that it broke my heart that it blew up as fast as it did. And I wasn't like really heavy on it. And so like some of y'all know this, some of y'all don't know this, probably most of y'all don't know. I don't flex about a lot of things because I don't have a lot to flex about. But one of the things I can flex about is that I am one of the Mount Rushmore of helping people break into tech, like helping Black people break into tech. I'm like on that Mount Rushmore. Some people say I am the GOAT, but I have to share that GOAT role with my homegirl, Simone Bees. And that being said, I'm at least on the Mount Rushmore of helping people get into tech. But I found out at multiple tech conferences, people have said like, yo, Cyrus, you started a trend 2-3 years ago. There's a lot of people that have hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok that do what you do. They saw what you were doing on Instagram. They started doing it on TikTok. Now, there's two different angles I have with it. Part of me loves it. I love seeing other people help people get in the tech industry. But then there's also this component of me realizing, dang, I missed a huge opportunity to get on the wave of TikTok. So as soon as I heard the news it was getting shut down, I told the team, hey, y'all, let's stop all of our plans for 2024 to go after TikTok because it looked like it's about to be gone. So I low-key am relieved. But again, that's selfish me. If I take myself out of it, I legit think Zuckerberg is being a hater. I think the US is protecting their interests. I think they're hating on China because we're at a constant war with China. Not a bang bang pew pew war, but we're at a war with China. We're at a trades war, obviously a tech war. We're constantly at war with them. And so it's clear what's really going on because the US has presented zero hard evidence. Now, as a technologist, I do believe TikTok is doing some little funny stuff. I do believe China's doing some funny stuff. We know how they're able to source data. We know that they're able to do certain things. Like, since they're not US based, they don't have to follow our laws of not tracking certain things on our phone. We know for a fact that they have the ability to do this and they might even be doing it. But we can't necessarily say that, I mean, technically they're not breaking any laws because our law doesn't apply to them. So again, I think they're doing some nefarious things, but I don't think that's the reason the US wants them gone. I think the US wants them gone because all these tech giants behind the scenes are funding our politicians and they're saying, hey, you need to get them up out of here. We seeing the tour that Mark Zuckerberg is going on right now. He switched from blue pill to red pill. He's like talking about there needs to be more masculinity in tech, which I'm not necessarily against that. For the most part, I'm not against that, theoretically. But we see what's going on with Zuck. We see him warming up to Trump. We see him trying to act more like Elon. We all see what's going on. It's pretty clear. But I'm going to go ahead and get over to the comments to see what y'all are talking about in the chat. So Lonnie says Intech since 2022, software developer, engineer. Jimmy says this is a dangerous precedence. The data that they are collecting is public data anyway. With national security, is there when the data is, or what national security is there when the data is already public? So there are certain pieces of data that isn't public that they're able to capture. For example, TikTok, they actually can, like, let's say, like whenever you go and let's say you log into your bank and you're typing your bank details and you're on whatever application with the bank that you have, TikTok can actually see that. Meta can't see that. Like all of these other American companies can't see that. There are blockers, like legally they're not allowed to do that. But
Might have a little bit of a freeze here. Give it a minute. Is it frozen on everyone's end? Let me know. Tap into the comment section. We'll keep it rolling here. We have some great comments. So just to build off of what Jimmy says, Mark Zuckerberg is definitely being a hater here. So the transition from TikTok onto Instagram is going to be absolutely insane. So most definitely let me know. Okay, it's frozen. Okay, it's frozen. Thank you guys. Okay, Cyrus is going to tap back in. No worries. But thank you, everyone, for your comments here. So let's shout you guys out. So Oran says, hey, Oran says, national security, definitely. Meta and others can just come in and take over. Chinese countries can just take over any Chinese company if it wants to. And so all of that data is available. Absolutely. And we also want to be concerned about our metadata, you guys. And so this is always available, but our likeness and our location, our IP addresses, metadata is mainly, via our appearance. However, if somebody were to take it and use it for evil, then this is something that's going to be a very real implication in our realities. Welcome back, Cyrus.
Yeah, I had to switch over to my personal hotspot. I don't know what's up with this Wi-Fi here. I'm in this old school Colombian Airbnb, so I don't know. The Wi-Fi might be a little janky up in this mug. So good stuff. So I don't know what all comments you've gotten to. I see a few comments here. Somebody said TikTok Shop is #1 competitor to Amazon. Yeah, it's interesting. We see TikTok. It's rare that you see, I mean, not even rare, it's never that you see a foreign tech company that's able to compete with our American tech companies, let alone one tech company that's coming after Amazon, that's coming after Instagram and Facebook, that's coming after about to come after YouTube, that's coming after Google, because so many people use TikTok as a search engine. I'm in Cartagena, Colombia right now. My first time I was here, I literally TikToked what restaurants to go to and what things to do. I didn't Google it. I TikToked what to do while I was here. And so I actually went, and same thing for the Dominican Republic, same thing I think for Dubai. Usually, like, I use ChatGPT to research things like okay, the best city to go to. Like, let's say I want to go to a city that I want to have like the best time, but I don't want to have to spend too much money, and I want to be able to, basically I want to be in a safe place, but I also want to be in a place that constantly has like parties and things going on, all of that. And I use and then ChatGPT gives me a list of the top 10 based on the order, and I usually choose my travels based off of that list. But when, in terms of what I'm gonna do in that city, I actually use TikTok. And so TikTok, a lot of people use it as a search engine. Instagram's trying to do the same thing, but they're not doing it as well. So I mean, it's like, it makes sense that the powers that be all came together Avenger style and said, nah, we gotta shut these boys down. We gotta shut them down. It's very interesting. It's almost akin to, I don't want to say racism, but it's almost akin to You know how a community can have their own beefs and their own issues, and then as soon as an outsider steps in and starts drama with them, they all come together and say, nah, we about to like push them up out of here. Like, ain't no way. It's kind of like all the beefs that these tech billionaires have here in America. It's like they all kind of like, I'm not gonna say they stop their beef because they still have their beef, but they're compartmentalizing their beef to where they're like, okay, but on the side though, we're all gonna come together to at least push TikTok out of the picture. So it's real crazy what's going on. It's truly crazy what's going on. So it sucks because this was how some people made a living. They're going to inadvertently unemployed. So you know what's beautiful about it? I love that you brought up that point. TikTok actually made an announcement 2 days ago. No, Wednesday. They made an announcement that they're actually not laying their staff off. They literally made an announcement about that. Let me. I'll actually pull it up. But no, great point. TikTok actually said they're not going to lay off their staff.
That's great.
All right, so so that's weird. So last year they announced that they were going to do some layoffs, but recently they announced that they weren't. I actually could just pull this up right here. I have it in a different place. So TikTok employees, they're actually going to be able to keep their jobs. So they're not about to do mass layoffs, at least right now. Y'all know things can change in the future. They can make an announcement in 3 months, whatever. Nevertheless, interestingly enough, they're not planning on doing layoffs. I'm going to look into, I'll bring this up later because we got other news and things to cover, but I'm going to look into how the people are going to maintain their employment and what exactly they're going to do. I mean, because we do have to keep in mind, just because TikTok isn't in America, again, that's the beauty of a SaaS product or something that's digital versus something that's a mom and pop or brick and mortar. Because if we think about, let's say TikTok was Walmart. Yeah, if America said y'all can't operate in America anymore, yeah, that means everybody that works at the Walmarts in America would lose their jobs. But since TikTok is digital, again, it's software. So in terms of their designers, in terms of their QA people, in terms of their product team, they still need all of those people to do what TikTok does. And so realistically, I'm sure they're going to do some layoffs or some hiring freezes, but realistically, the people that they have, they still need those people for the most part. Now, maybe they don't need as many as much cloud. Maybe they don't need as much storage anymore. Maybe they don't need as much, I don't know, like access to certain data centers. I don't really know how their infrastructure is set up, but they probably don't need as much as that. But in terms of just to run the business, it kind of makes sense they're not doing layoffs because they still need those people for the most part. Let's see what y'all are talking about. Oh, what somebody say was Squid Game. All right, Trump is cashless. Trump cashless. Musk the head mark. 6G, the digital prison group. What? I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like you just had me say a spell or something like that. I don't even know what you just said. Jimmy says, I love the thought of a social media Squid Game. That would be interesting. I was more so talking about the creators who make a living during. Oh yeah, true that. Yeah, I think the TikTok creator economy, I think it's a $300 million economy. So I think we're poised to lose about $300 million for creators. Now, this is a lesson for everybody. Now, again, I'm not justifying what's happening, but this is a lesson. It is important for us to make sure that we are agnostic when it comes to social media platforms, where we're not, all of our gold isn't in one place. And I'll be real. Let me know in the chat, like if y'all saw something different. Most people that I know that are really big on TikTok, they barely cared about Instagram. Like they will put in their bio, I have 300, 400,000 followers on TikTok, but their Instagram is like, but you have 3,000 Instagram followers. And I would see people's TikTok where they had a lot of content, but I would go to their Instagram and they wouldn't have anything on their Instagram. And so it's like, I think creators should learn how to operate more like creators should understand they are a business. You know, there's a quote that Jay-Z said. He said, I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man. And just truthfully, creators need to understand they are businesses. And as a business, you need to have some level of omnipresence as best as you can. Every creator should be at least on 2 different platforms that they are heavy, heavy on. And so that's just super important. That's one thing, like I say, we're blessed by Texas New Black. We have a large social media follow. Even my personal Instagram is shadow banned right now. Like, I'm actually losing followers. I've never lost followers before. I was at 210,000, and now I'm at like 208,000. It's like I'm getting new followers, but I'm losing more than I'm getting. And because none of my content showing in the explore page. But the blessing is that we have our business Instagram, which has about almost 90,000 followers, and we have our YouTube that we actually just crossed over 150,000 subs this week. So again, y'all, make sure if you're a creator, if you're looking to like grow a brand on social media, which I believe everyone should, because it's your digital footprint now. It's literally a part of your professional brand business, whatever you want to do, it's a part of that. So you should go ahead and grow it. Nevertheless, you always want to make sure that you are popping at least on 2 different platforms. But again, that's my opinion on it. So read a couple more comments on this, and then Ash will go ahead and switch over to the topic that you have to address. So Oren says China already has the EV market on lock. If they start taking over the tech in North America, if North America's not catching up, not allowed. I don't either I'm sucking at reading right now, or some of this grammar is a little off in these sentences. So Jimmy says TikTok's algorithm was much easier to go viral. Yeah, I heard that about TikTok. The other thing I heard about TikTok though is that you make less money on TikTok though. So you go viral, but it's not the best platform for generating revenue. Like, I know that they didn't have certain automations you could use on TikTok, like Instagram. There seem to be like a lot of certain limitations with actually generating revenue. But anyway, Jason says creators should spread their influence on multiple platforms anyway, but TikTok won't be banned. Yeah, it's what do you mean? You don't think TikTok is going to be banned? You think it's still going to be here for the foreseeable future, Jason? I'm not going to say you're wrong. All signs are pointing to you being wrong. But hey, stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. TikTok will still be here for all we know. All right. So Ash, we're going to go ahead and pass it over to you for the next piece of AI and tech news.
All right, major gems you've been dropping here, Cyrus. Most definitely taking notes. So for our next news segment, you guys, we're going to be spilling the tea. So we know the inauguration is coming up, and Jensen Huang, the CEO, as we know, of Nvidia, has declined the inauguration invite. Now, of course, all CEOs are busy. However, this is perhaps a sign on the collaboration and the specific interest of a business model. And so essentially we're looking at, fostering loyalty and innovation. A lot of people are standing behind Trump, Mark Zuckerberg, obviously Elon Musk. And so if we see that Jensen Huang isn't necessarily, trying to stand beside him, but remain neutral, is that something that's a benefit for him? Or do you guys see it, retaliating against him eventually? What do you think, Cyrus? Is it a good thing that he's not attending? Do you think that he should attend? Let us know in the comments.
Hey, love him or hate him, right? Y'all know Trump is very similar to Drake, where it's like they're very sensitive people, and mind you, I'm a huge Drake fan, so I don't say that it's disrespect. It's just a reality that they're very sensitive people. They're a little bit more sensitive than the average person is. So, man, right now is low key not the time to. And I hate to say, even if you don't like Trump, it's like you have to play chess. That's what Mark Zuckerberg is doing. Like, if y'all here in the chat, like, let me know in the chat if anybody here thinks Mark Zuckerberg actually likes Trump. Let me know in the chat if like we all know it's crazy. He started his rebranding about 2 years ago, around the time that it was pretty clear that the Democratic Party wasn't going to win, especially if Trump was going to be able to run. It's like he started his rebranding like 2 or 3 years ago. And then early last year, once it was clear Trump was going to be running, you could tell his PR team went hard trying to rebrand him, trying to show he's this tough dude. He's masculine. He's a bro. He's cool. They went hard, and honestly, they did it right. I went to Mark's Instagram. The comments under his Instagram, it's like he's a celebrity that people love. Like, I haven't seen not one negative comment in his Insta, which is crazy. It's like, to be who he is, and for people in the comments to like just be praising him, and they're talking like they know him. They're like, "Oh, Mark, you're so cool." People I even know. I'm like, "Bro, what you doing in the comments?" Like Mark, like you and Mark on a first name basis or something like that. That being said, we know Mark is doing it because he's playing the game. He's playing the role. He's looking out. He's looking out for he's looking out for Meta. This year, arguably, this next 4 years is probably the most pivotal 4 years. I'm not gonna say ever because we don't know what the future is gonna hold, but man, in my lifetime, y'all let me know in the chat. In my lifetime, I don't think we've ever had a more pivotal time. I've never even felt like most elections or most seasons when presidents were coming in. Like, I felt like the last one was somewhat pivotal, but I didn't think this one, like what's about to happen these next 4 years, everything is changing. 4 years from now, the world is gonna look completely different between AI, robotics. Like, 4 years from now, it is going to be super normal for us to see self-driving vehicles. Like, 4 years from now, no one's going to see a self-driving car and is going to want to take a picture of it. It's going to be a super normal thing. Honestly, I would argue 4 years from now, the majority of people will probably be even comfortable getting in a self-driving vehicle 4 years from now. I don't know if any of y'all that missed the news last week, but Lyft and Uber are partnering with Waymo, the self-driving company that's in Cali. They are launching self-driving Uber and Lyfts in Atlanta and Austin, Texas this spring. So like all of these, everything is converging right now, y'all. It's converging like crazy. So 4 years from now, the world is going to be entirely different. And so Zuckerberg realizes that, and he's open about it. He's been saying like, "Yo, this year we have to take out OpenAI or ChatGPT." He's like, literally, one of the articles that we're not even going to get to cover, but it's one of the things I almost wanted to bring up. But he talked about how like they have to beat OpenAI. That this year everything hangs on them being able to beat them. And so everyone's competing right now, like on a high level, like XAI. Obviously, we have Llama, we have Copilot. It's like all of these, Anthropic. Like, we have all of these different AI companies owned by the big giants, by Amazon, Elon Musk, which he's not a company, but he's a person, but Elon Musk, Meta, obviously, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Microsoft has their own Copilot while being the biggest investor. It's like, y'all, this year is the year like where it's going crazy these next few years. So Jensen Wang, hey buddy, look, he need to go kiss the ring. I hate to say it. What you doing, dude? Because especially he's the newest player. Like, him and Sam Altman are the newest players in this game of the big dogs. Like, Tim Cook is solidified, Zuckerberg is solidified, Elon is solidified, Bill Gates is solidified. These people are solidified. Bezos, they're solidified. Sam and Jensen Wang, especially Jensen Wang, because everybody knows Sam Altman. Only people that are actually paying attention to like stocks in the tech industry know who Jensen Wang is. Jensen Wang need to stop playing around. He better stop playing around and go ahead and kiss the ring. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. But Ash, I'm curious about what you think.
So, as we know, it's a natural interest at stake here. So, they're building chips, which is competing with Thailand, for example, which is one of the largest chip creators. And so Nvidia is a global brand. And so, the US wants to have full control over that. However, for Nvidia to remain neutral could also be in its interest for its global benefits and partnerships.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yes, yes. Hey, but it is interesting to see how it's all playing out because they are surely kissing the ring. They're doing more than kissing the ring. They're on their knees. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Man, this is wild, y'all. This is crazy times. You know what? That's a phenomenal point. I can't even argue with that point. That they are more, their global reach is what truly matters. They're looking to win the global war. I think a lot of our other companies in America, they're not thinking at the same scale necessarily. And so that makes a lot of sense. I can't even argue at that point. That makes so because I'm like, yo, why would Jensen Wang not show up to the inauguration? I don't care how busy you are, bro. Like if you ain't there, it's crazy. It's real interesting. All right, let's get to what y'all talking about in the comments because y'all going in right now. Jason says news says either Musk will require or Trump will reverse. Yeah, everyone's thinking about acquiring TikTok. Musk is like Ash mentioned earlier, Mr. Beast talked about buying it. I don't think he has enough money he doesn't have enough money himself to buy because his money is too tied up into all the stuff he's doing. Because even though Mr. Beast is worth a lot of money, he himself does not have a lot of free money because it's so tied up. He reinvests all the way back into what he does. That being said, he has the pool that he can get together with 10 other people and they put their money together and they can buy TikTok. He definitely has a pool to do that. So Jimmy says, just want to take this opportunity to say I'm a huge fan. Hey, appreciate that, bro. And you've helped me more than you know, Cyrus. I appreciate you, bro. Please don't stop. Hey, man, I appreciate that so much, Jimmy, man. That means a lot. Really to hear that, man. So, hey, look, like stuff like that matters, man. Like getting comments like this means so much to me. I'm a person where I usually keep my head down and I just work and work and work and work. So every now and again, it's good for me to see comments and messages like this, bro. So I appreciate this so much, man. Happy that I could be a blessing in your life. And yeah, I'm definitely not going to stop. I ain't stopping until the wheels fall off, until I'm going up to glory.
Yes.
All right, we got too much work to do. Arlani says, I'm gonna say the blanks are collabing. This slants are sticking together in the chip war. Just saying, and Mass is worried about TikTok. Y'all speaking in code today. I think I get what you're saying. I'm gonna say the blanks. I don't know the blanks. I don't know if that's blanks as white people or if that's the powers that be. I don't know. They're collabing. This slants. The slants are sticking together. Is slants is that a euphemism for Asian people because their eyes are slanted? I don't know. I could be wrong. Don't nobody come for me. Don't try to cancel me if I'm wrong. I'm just reading what I see. Anyway, and mass is where massa. See, that's why I'm not good at interpreting codes and stuff like that. All right, Yahweh says we are going to experience massive growth in many areas. Very true, very true. Whoa, did you put the comment twice? Oh, you put the comment twice, Jimmy. I thought I was tripping. All right, Yahweh says we are also going to see the emergence of a new class of people, the tech class, sort of happening already. Man, that's so true. Hey, look, y'all. Look, I'm gonna say real quick for those of y'all that are not a part of the community, we have a community of techies and professionals. It's a community of almost 6,000 so far. It's our Discord. Make sure y'all tap in. We have our upcoming tech event that's happening. The tentative date right now is February 22nd. I decided to push it back a little bit because we want more time. We literally just got the flyer. We got all the deliverables there. I'm going to be there. The queen of AI herself, she's let me point this way. She's going to be there, as well as some other heavy hitters. Make sure y'all pull up to the event. It's going to be in Atlanta. And the flyer, all that stuff is going to be get posted. We have a promo video, all that. It's going to be dropping literally within the next couple of days. So make sure you tap in, but also tap in with the community because there are some really advanced things that Ash is working on that is meant to help those of us that are a part of it be at the forefront of what's happening and truly, truly make sure that we are building wealth and that we have a huge stronghold in this space that we're talking about. So beyond just working in the industry, but truly being able to benefit off the growth of everything that's happening. James says, President is petty. Oh, yeah. And again, y'all click the link down below. It's in the comments. You can see how you can actually join the community. And again, it's a free tech community. Make sure you click the link, join below. James says, President is petty, but Nvidia is very important to all the other tech companies, but they need to be careful dealing with this new administration. That's true. It's especially because it's one thing to get under Trump's skin or make Trump be like, yo, are you a op? It's a whole nother thing when all of your competitors, Elon, Zuckerberg, even though they all in some way, even though they're cool, Zuckerberg and Elon are actually cool with Jensen Wang. Like they're actually not beefing with him, which is shocking. Nevertheless, I know Elon is making robots. He has Tesla bots, so he's a direct competitor to Nvidia. Zuckerberg is going to be making robots. If Meta isn't already, guarantee they're going to be announcing in the next few months. They're going to be making robots of their own. So it's like Nvidia just really can't take that risk. But again, his market is larger. He's the plug right now, so maybe he's not tripping. He like, y'all got to come to me anyway, at least for now. So Nvidia has no meaningful competitors in the GPU market. So they do have Intel, I think, is still bigger than them. Even though Nvidia is gaining more popularity and people are more interested in Nvidia, Intel is still bigger than them. And there's one other company, and by bigger, I don't mean that they're more because right now Nvidia has they have a higher valuation, but they're still not making as much money as I think it's Intel, and there's one other company where they're actually still larger in that space than Nvidia is. So Nvidia got some competition, even though they're just the only ones we hear about because they pop and they hot right now. They like the new kid on the block, even though they're not new. They've been around for a minute, but in terms of popularity. So James says president is petty, but Nvidia is very important to all the other. Oh yeah, you already read that. All right. Oren says it is, and we are probably going back into COVID measures. Who is calling for us to go into this? What do you mean COVID measures? What are you talking about? This is a play on this or their loss in the metaverse. Wang does not really, because he owns the chips that runs everything. They come to him for the computing power. So he does, but everyone. So about 2 weeks ago, Oren, I don't know if you attended the news about 2 weeks ago. We actually reported everybody else is trying to come up with their chips as well. So Meta is working on their own chips. Apple is working on their own chips. I believe Elon is or will be in the future. So everybody's basically they're basically trying to remove Nvidia from being the plug, because all of these companies, they realize, yo, if all of us are a customer of Nvidia, by default Nvidia is gonna be bigger than all of us because all of us are going to need Nvidia. So all of them are working towards cutting Nvidia off from being their number one supplier. Maybe not entirely, but they are working towards being a competitor to Nvidia. So that's why it's kind of like it's a little interesting. But again, I agree with Ash's point. She brought up a phenomenal point. Oren said, I mean, this year is going to be important. All right, Jimmy says that's a good point. The tech class. Yeah, that is a really good point. Is AMD, that's who I was thinking of. AMD and Intel are AMD's number one in the chip making space for semiconductors and all of that. They're number one right now. So what tech companies are hiring for engineering? Honestly, whatever list I give you will be a short list. The best thing to do is to go to a different platform that lists the companies that are hiring. I would say if you're trying to be a software engineer, I hate to say it, and I noticed this earlier when I saw your comment, Lonnie, this year is not the best year for software engineers. It's just not. Last year wasn't that good, but this year already is looking worse. Zuckerberg, everybody's been announcing that they're planning on doing hiring freezes. Salesforce is doing a hiring freeze, and I think layoffs for software engineers, because they're all starting to lean on AI. But again, that's a whole nother topic we could talk about. Anyway, let's go ahead and get over to the next piece of news. Actually, I was about to pass it over to Ash, but I just realized that I'm actually supposed to introduce the next piece of news. And the next piece of news that we have: from a billion-dollar unicorn to a cautionary tale, India's once thriving startup is now crumbling, and the U.S. investors are feeling the heat. So the downfall of this hot startup has wiped out millions in U.S. debt, sending shockwaves through the global startup ecosystem. Is this a case of overhyped valuation and mismanagement, or a warning sign for venture-backed startups worldwide? Either way, it's another blow to the fragile trust in international tech investments. So, y'all, there is a major tech company in India that was getting a lot of funding from investors here in the U.S. Now, a lot of y'all might not know this. One thing I'm sure all of y'all know: India has the largest, in terms of population. We're talking about a country. India has the largest population. But on the flip side, India, when it comes to their tech scene, places like India, Pakistan, they have the most potential. Maybe I would probably say Africa probably has the most potential, but India has like one of the top highest potentials, but it's a potential that for some reason is not being fully realized. And so there's this the company in India. This was like supposed to be their golden child, where it was going to be the thing that was going to like make more and more investors rush to India, because India does not have a shortage of developers. India actually has like one of the highest number of developers in the world. That being said, for some reason, when many of them have been trying to create different tech startups, they have just been flopping, which is crazy to see because they're brilliant people. They work really hard. And so right now, the blowback that just happened, literally, I'll just get to my question that I have, y'all. So are we witnessing the bubble bursting for overvalued startups, or is this an isolated failure? And I want to know, like, do y'all think, like, and let me know if any of y'all in the chat that are investors or y'all are even keeping up with what's happening when it comes with international investments. Do you believe that major failures that happen with nations like India would cause investors to shrink back from even investing in places like South Africa or Nigeria or Ghana when it comes to their tech scene and what's happening? So I see Teal's focus says, how do you transition into AI engineering if they want advanced degrees? So I would suggest you tap in with Ash when it comes to because you could go to school to get an AI engineering degree, but it's like you don't really want to take 2 years, 4 years to do that, because 2 years, 4 years, the whole market, everything's going to be different in 2 or 4 years. So that being said, definitely tap in with Ash regarding that. I would say after tapping in with her, unless she suggests you to go a different route, I could give you some suggestions of some different AI, specific like AI boot camps that I would recommend that would help you in that sense. But first, I would say talk with her because she might have something for you instead. So tap in with her in regards to that. So Yahweh says, I just joined the Discord. Hey, that's what's up. All right, good stuff, good stuff. So yeah, so I'm wondering, y'all know that a lot of investment is happening in places like Africa. There are a lot of plans for different major investors to happen. But this huge blowback that just happened with India, a lot of people are worried and fearful that American investors are going to do what basically they've been kind of doing, which is just being like, yo, we just are going to continue to invest in American startups. You know, so I'm worried that this, because y'all know, like, as we empower other nations, even though I'm very America first, like I'm America. I'm American first. I'm a veteran, all of that. At the same time, I believe in the betterment of humanity across the globe. I want to see everybody thrive. I love competition. I want to see India doing good. I want to see China doing good. I want to see Japan doing good. I want to see South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Egypt, and all these other parts of Africa thriving and excelling, especially we talk about tech and AI. Nevertheless, as an investor, let me know, those of y'all that invest, are any of y'all invested in any international technology? And I'm not talking crypto, but like international tech companies. I'm curious to know, like, from y'all, like in terms of like where y'all heads are at with this. So Teal's focus says efficiency is code word for cheap labor. The US has an efficiency problem compared to countries like China, India, and Africa. I know you know that Africa isn't a country, but I know you're just putting Africa just as a whole catch-all. But yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But Yahweh says when it comes to investing in tech, they look at a lot of things. The first level is the physical, natural disasters, governmental issues. Yeah. Follow the data centers where they're building them at. Yeah, I don't know if India has a lot of, like, India has problems, but I don't know if they have governmental problems. I think their government, for the most part, is still on lock. It's not like you mentioned. It's not like Ghana or Nigeria, or where it's like they have a lot of instability, where it's like a year from now or 2 years from now, there could be freedom fighters, or there could be like an internal war that happens and their government could be overtaken. It's like, a lot of instability in certain, there's a lot of corruption. There's corruption in government in general, but it's like they have a kind of different kind of corruption that's still a bit primitive. And so that we're all hoping like gets fixed, gets resolved, so that Africa and all the beautiful countries in Africa could truly thrive the way that we all wanted to thrive. Ash, what are your thoughts on that? Like, I know you've been paying attention, probably even more so than I have, when it comes to the global tech and AI market and what's happening in certain countries and certain continents. do you do you believe that because of America is seeming to start to pick back up, do you believe investors are going to like focus back just on America, or do you think that investors and like even companies are going to want to still expand to these other nations because of that access to cheap labor and also the untapped opportunity that's there?
Hmm. I think what makes the most sense from a bottom line standpoint, we're getting to capitalist nation. It's going to be, this is essentially the answer to answer your question, is an isolated incident. Because ideally, especially with the future, how quickly everything is moving, and also again, how labor, is going to be in a significant shortage. We're going to be covering that a little bit later about the US labor market. However, it makes more sense to collaborate with these advanced technologies. We're no longer just at artificial intelligence. We're now evolving into AGI, artificial general intelligence, where it's AI that's as intelligent as a human being. Eventually, there's going to be AI that's going to be artificial super intelligence that, of course, supersedes human intelligence. So with that, this is a global problem, or but AI is going to be the ultimate solution. So we're all going to have to come together instead of competing, because there is a significant risk on the table for all of us for it to go wrong. We cannot afford to not be ethical. We cannot afford to not think from a global collective perspective. That's how I see it. But I do think that, it is unfortunate the company didn't excel. However, there's limitless amounts of ideas, limitless geniuses that are out there from all countries, all over the world, that can definitely, contribute to this global economy idea. So I would say that it's isolated for now. I think that would make sense to invest in, India. However, what's key is network. So we have the Silicon Valley, and so it's a huge, tech hub. And so all countries are now coming to the US. And so it wouldn't make much sense to be divisive and combative at this point. We have to be able to hold hands as a nation and move forward into the future. The future is here, the future is now. We can no longer afford to have these outdated mindsets that are just divisive and says that we, have to compete.
I wonder if James says most of my investments are tied up domestically. However, the international tech scene will eventually stabilize in India and elsewhere. There is a lot of growth to be had. I wonder if because of the competition that's happening right now with AI and all of these, I don't think any of these companies have ever been going as hard or as focused and locked in. Because again, for the most part, they've all been the big dog in their space. Like Meta was always the big dog when it came to social media. So they were kind of, for the most part, chilling. Their competitors were like smaller companies that wanted to compete with them. So Elon, for the most part, has always been a big dog in his space, whether we're talking Tesla, SpaceX, things he's done has kind of been like nobody else has really been a major competitor to him. Same thing with Bezos and Amazon. It's like all of these players, Apple, all of them are like the big dogs in their space. But now they're all converged against each other, where it's like all of them are like they all are like they're after that top thing, which is being the top dog when it comes to AI. Yeah. And so the advancements are happening so quickly. I wonder, even when other nations in other continents start developing more technology, I have a theory. I think if something doesn't happen in these next 4 years, like in terms of if other nations don't start getting really prominent startups and they get major investors behind them, I think we could see it to where our American tech companies and AI companies are going to be monopolies that control the world when it comes to technology. And part of me wonders if that was also part of their fear with TikTok, was the notion that TikTok threatens that. Like no other tech AI company really, really, truly threatens all the powers that be. Like we know Samsung is huge. Like people don't realize how big a deal Samsung is outside of America. Samsung is huge. There are some major, huge companies outside of the US. I want to be very clear about that. huge companies. But in terms of this AI arms race, we know China is definitely in the race. I don't know. I think we might see, if something doesn't change, I think the tech companies that are going to be in Africa, that are going to be in India, that are going to be in other places, they are probably going to be majority owned by the tech companies that are here in America and by the leaders that are here in America. Again, that's my theory. I think that's what might end up happening, which will be pretty interesting to see. So Teal's focus says the U.S. would have to start training students in primary school to work these new AI roles. Yeah, I mean, but I mean, as we know, public school is not meant to make us. It's weird. We actually might see for the first time our public schools. You actually might be right. We might see our public schools will start to transform and be more STEM focused. That actually might happen, because as things shift and shuffle, because y'all know public school is set up to where it's where public school sets you up to be a worker, and kind of like a low level worker for the most part, versus private school is more set up. Private schools usually with people that have a little bit more money, especially if you're talking about very upper class private schools. Those kids are taught to be leaders of the world. When I used to do poetry, I actually this is going to sound really crazy. I got booked to do poetry for what grade were they in? They were fourth graders or fifth graders. And at that point in time, I had only done poetry for mainly college, adult, some high school, but that would be very rare. And this is for elementary school kids. And my homegirl invited me. She had booked me. And when I walked into class and I saw how little the kids were, I was like, my poems have a lot of like layers and wordplay and metaphors and double entendres and triple entendres. And she was like, this is a private school. These kids are going to understand all of it. She was not. In my life, I had never seen kids as smart as these kids. After I did my poem, they were taking notes on things that like caught them off guard. And then afterwards, they were like pointing out the metaphors and the word. And these are like fifth graders. And it was at that point I realized, like, yo, private schooling, especially like like, this is why these people like become super wealthy and their kids become super wealthy, is because they are taught in a different way. It's just really crazy to see that. So I do believe that we could see a trickle down effect to where private schools, maybe they'll learn some things about technology in terms of the STEM, because it was a STEM. No, it was actually called a STEAM school. Science, technology, engineering, arts, and math and science is what her school was that she invited me to. That being said, we might see an era where even public schools start teaching technology, just because that'll still be considered a lower level job or career, besides the more higher tier careers where maybe they'll focus on AI and they'll focus on robotics and other things. So I don't know. These are my thoughts. We might even see the STEM field evolve in a different way. But anyway, I'm excited about the next piece of news that Ash has to share. So we're going to keep it pushing, keep it moving so we can stay on schedule. So Ash, go ahead and hit us with the next piece of news.
Yeah, this is actually the perfect transition because we're going to be covering the future of jobs. So the World Economic Forum has put out their highly anticipated future of jobs report. So we're going to be getting into the roles that you guys need to be transitioning into. So keep an ear out, an eye out here. So essentially, we're projecting that 83 million jobs are going to disappear by the year 2030. However, we're looking at 97 million of those jobs or new jobs actually emerging as, economy building solutions that are really going to be opportunities for you guys to step into, to transition into tech and AI. So once you gain the principles and borderline skills, then you're going to be able to adapt and evolve. So let's get into it. Here's what you guys need to know. What are the top roles in demand? We're looking at AI and machine learning specialists. Now, this is important because data analytics is key. You're going to want to, focus on that and have those skills. Also, we're looking at two roles that may not have, we may not have thought of that. Maybe we didn't think of them at first. So we're looking at renewable energy engineers. So renewable energy is huge, sustainability. Also, we already discussed data analysts, scientists, cybersecurity experts, human machine integration designers, and a few of the jobs that are at risk that we already know about that can easily be automated is like data entry clerks, administrative roles, bank tellers, et cetera, et cetera. So what you guys need to know is reskilling. Now, the most lucrative opportunity to transition into tech is tech sales. And the good news is for you guys is we actually have the best boot camp on the market that is also AI enhanced. So if you're not already into tech and transitioning, you need to tap at the link below. But I'm interested to see, what you think, and also you guys that are listening, about this changing job market. Are you guys already anticipating this shift and change in upskilling, or are you kind of scared that you're going to get, a little left behind? Let us know. Be honest. Cyrus, what do you think?
I believe straight up that the writing is on the wall for everybody, and that people definitely should just go ahead and move forward and make sure that they are getting on top of what's happening in the industry and make sure that they are taking advantage of these careers. Let me know in the chat. I'm sure, y'all wouldn't be here if y'all aren't interested in the tech industry. Like, that's literally the entire premise of what it is that we're doing. Let me know in the chat. And again, no judgment. Is there anybody that's here in the chat where you're not doing anything in the tech AI industry at all whatsoever, and you're not interested, you just like this news? Or you're a person where you're like, nah, I might not be in the industry yet, but I see what's happening and I'm aggressively working towards upskilling or looking into what I need to do to upskill. Again, no judgment. Even obviously we have our biases and things like that. I'm just curious. But that being said, I'm gonna be real, y'all. Even myself, as much as I'm just ingrained in the industry, I've been thinking about upskilling so much. I literally had a dream last night that I was in a new boot camp learning some new stuff. Like, that's how much my brain has been like, yo, I need to upskill more. Like, we really, really have to like there is no point of comfortability. I mean, because look at it. Even these giants, the Zuckerbergs and all of these people, they realize that they could lose their spot if they're playing around. As big as Meta is, Meta could become an afterthought if they're not a leader in this AI space, because they know if they're not a leader, then literally they're going to have to rely on Elon or rely on OpenAI, rely on these other companies to make sure Meta is AI enhanced, which automatically gives them handcuffs and makes them kind of a slave to these other companies. So these other billionaires are realizing that they could get tricked out of their spot if their companies are not upskilling and advancing in a major way. Yeah. And so likewise with me, I've been heavily like, yo, I'm like, yo, there are not enough hours in the day. Like, I'm like, yo, I got work to do. So I'm gonna tell y'all straight up, I don't have an off day anymore. I just don't have an off day. I refuse to have an off day now. I don't care if I'm on vacation. I don't care. I just don't have an off day. I might have a light duty day where I'm only going to work for 4 hours, but it's like, I'm like, yo, we got to lead the charge. Like, we got to make moves. Even the Texas New Black team, literally last night, I was supposed to go out last night because again, I'm in Cartagena, Colombia. I'm in like a fun city. I literally stayed up all night restructuring the team. I was like, yo, we need to restructure everything we do top to bottom. We need to focus on efficiency. We need to everything. I was looking at what things we're doing that are cute but aren't really pushing the needle forward. Like, retweaking everything top to bottom. I'm looking at what could we do that could free up more of my time so I can further my education and what I'm doing. So y'all, like, so right now is a time where it's like none of us are safe. Any of us could get tricked out of our position or our spot. And again, that's not, I don't want to say that. The goal isn't to scare anybody, but the goal is to like wake us up and to make sure that even us that are in the industry, even us that are leaders, and it's like, yo, you cannot, shouts out to Future. Future said himself in his song, he said, Trick, don't get too comfortable. You better not get too comfortable. Like, straight up, do not get too comfortable. Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. So Jordan says I'm bad at typing, so I think that's what's stopping me from breaking in tech. My hands are too stiff. So I don't know if you have a arthritis, or if you have carpal tunnel, or if you have something going on with your hands. But I truly believe that I would say a couple of suggestions I will give you. One, if there's a way you can get some type of massage or some type of therapy for your hands to loosen them up. Two, if there's some type of way you can train your hands. Three, I also would suggest, if those won't work for you, I would suggest you looking into technology where you could just do talk to text. There's technology out there where you could literally pair it with your computer to where literally you could do talk to text, and you actually will be able to type faster than the rest of us. So I implore you, and this is for everybody, y'all, we have to think out of the box. There's zero limitations. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you ain't got legs or arms. Like, y'all, this is 2025. Like, we're talking, literally the next topic I have is with Neuralink. Like, we're talking about people that are fully paralyzed, but they're able to type with their thoughts. So it's like, you could talk, you could think, you can do stuff to still type, and type as fast as us. And actually, the people that are using Neuralink, their reaction time on computers is faster than everyone else. So I want to implore everyone. I don't care what your situation is. I don't care if you are just broke, down and out, living in a ghetto, and you don't have any education, and you're like, man, this sounds like it's just impossible. I promise you, it's not impossible. It is not impossible. In our boot camp curriculums, one of the first trainings we have, particularly in our career accelerator part of the program, the very first module we have, the first module shows you how to navigate the Discord, specifically the part of the Discord that's for people that are in the boot camp, because they see stuff that the rest of y'all don't see. But the first actual educational module is literally about, it's called Mindset and Foundation to Scaling in Tech. The first thing you need to focus on is your mindset. It's unlearning anything that could keep you back from becoming super successful in this industry. And that sounds simpler than what it is, but it's a lot of people's favorite module, because it really helps you unlearn things, and it also helps you realize what to do to actually transform your mind. And so there's a scripture in the Bible that says, renew your mind by the reading of the word of God. Like, literally saying, like, you transform your mind by reading God's word. And I remember reading that, and eventually I used to be just a huge Bible nerd. And I still read my Bible almost every day. But I used to be, at one point, I was obsessive over the Bible. And I thought the only way to renew your mind was with reading the Bible. Now, again, for anybody that's not a Christian, I want y'all to follow me. Like, stay with me for a second. I thought the only way to renew my mind and transform my mind was reading the Bible. But what I realized was that the scripture says, renew your mind by the reading of the word. It doesn't say the only way to renew your mind is to read the word. It's telling you a certain way to renew your mind. If you want to renew your mind spiritually, read this book. But if you want to renew your mind in terms of leaving a certain ghetto mentality, or leaving a certain mentality that makes you doubt yourself and doubt what you're capable of, you read other material that'll help transform you in that way. I was not a person that cared about tech news at all. I didn't care about tech news. I didn't care about business. I didn't care, like, anybody talk about this stuff. It was boring to me. I literally transformed my thinking by reading books. And I forced myself to read the first couple of books. And then little by little, I started reading. And little by little, I fell in love with it. So I promise you, it doesn't matter if we're talking the most boring thing you could think about in tech. I promise, if you dedicate yourself to it, you will start to love it. You will be infatuated with it. That's just the way that God has designed us. A person who hates running, if you run long enough, you will start to catch a runner's high. You will actually become obsessed with running. It's just the way we're designed to be. The same way a person can date a toxic person, and then eventually they fall in love with a toxic person. It's like, if we dedicate ourselves to something good or bad, we start to trick ourselves to love that thing. So don't doubt yourself. Don't hold yourself back. Nothing can hinder you from being able to scale and become very successful. Like, Elon is, what is it? I forget. Like, what does he deal with?
Asperger's.
Asperger's. He has Asperger's. And I think there's one other thing that he has. And so, like, Don't think any of this stuff. Autism. He's autistic and has Asperger's. So it's like, come on, like don't let none of this stuff hold you back. Yeah. So, but yeah, to Ash, I definitely think people need to upskill. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to the comments real quick, and then we're gonna get to the next piece of news, and we're gonna start to get ready to wrap up soon, y'all. All right. So, any recommendations for AI trainings geared towards project management, agile project management? Currently in an agile project management side of tech. Yeah. So you have two different routes you can go. If you're already in the industry, then I would say tap in with Ash when it comes to that. If you are not in the industry yet, so you need to like learn like heavy project management, agile, scrum, all of that side of things, but learn it in a way that's related to AI, then I would suggest there is a boot camp called Skill Hat. Phenomenal boot camp, like phenomenal boot camp. I have a discount for their program. I have interviewed last year alone. I interviewed, and I'm not exaggerating. I interviewed about 10 to 12 of their alumni who all work in tech that did their program. And they don't just get people in tech, they work at the coolest companies because the program really helps you towards like marketing yourself and branding yourself to get the best. Like one of their alumni interviewed works for NASA, doing project management for NASA. Another one I interviewed, they do project management for the Toronto Raptors and a few other teams, but they're doing the it's like tech side of stuff, and it's stuff with the arena in Canada as well. And so, and then two of the other project managers, no, one business analyst and one project manager I interviewed. Both of them were making over $300,000 a year because they showed them how to ethically be able to job stack, where there's actually an ethical way to do it, which is through contracting. Or you could actually, instead of like having a job at the company, you can set up contracts to where it helps you tax wise as well, gives you a lot of tax benefits. You can make more money. So I would say if that's where you're at, definitely tap in with them. Hit me up for a discount. Y'all know if I recommend something to you, I always hit y'all with a discount all the time. Definitely tap in with them for that. Get to a couple more comments. We're gonna shift over to next piece of news. World is changing fast. Must stay educated and keep learning. There are many that will be left behind. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people that aren't aware of these changes to come. I've been trying to warn as many people as I can. Yeah, y'all, that's why we do Saturday AI and Tech News or weekly AI and Tech News. It's to make people aware. Because I realized, okay, we're helping a lot of people get in the industry, but I started noticing there were people I was helping get in the industry where they didn't even understand the industry. Like some people think the why to get in tech is just about making the money. We're past that. We're past it being about making money. Now it's about security for your future, like overall security. Yahweh says exactly. I'm constantly studying and advancing my skills. We have to catch up. We got to. James says is to not be one of them. And Mr. CMB, you can't take your foot off the gas. People will get left behind and have no idea. That's so true. Jacqueline says, I'm not in tech yet, but want to be a data analyst. Hey, tap in. There are two different data analyst programs that I'll recommend to you. Top tier. Both teach you data analytics as it relates to AI. So definitely tap in. One of them that I would recommend is the same one I just mentioned, Skill Hat. So hit me up if you want a discount with them. But Skill Hat, their price point, their entire program is a little under 5,000. It's like 4,800. So if anybody, and again, they have payment plans, they have finance, and they have all of that stuff. But if that's like such a price point that's way too high for you, and if your credit is just really, really not there, then tap in with me. I have a discount to another program that's super, super affordable. It'll still be able to help you. It's just you won't land in a role that's going to start you at like 110, 120. You'll probably land something starting you at like 85, 90,000. Still really good money, but just not as high. So either way, but it's I don't care where you at financially. The other option is something that anybody can afford. Mr. CMB, talk to text is how people are writing books now. Exactly. Prompt copy and paste. All right, I'm gonna zap down. I'm moving slow in the comments. Jermaine, Teal's Focus asks, can Ash list a few more of those roles to reskill to? Hey, tap in with her during a free consultation.
Tap in. I got you.
Tap in with her. Click the link down there. Get a one-on-one with her.
Shout out to Lyric Studio. Thank you so much. Pleasure working with you.
Yeah, it's a few people here in the comments in the chat that have scheduled some calls with her. All right, Jermaine says, how can we reach out to get connected if we are already in tech and don't have the expense for boot camps? So if you're already in tech, if you just want to scale in the industry, just literally join our community. Like, we'll help you scale. Like, we do trainings and things throughout the week that show you how to scale. But if you're looking to transition to something else in the industry, it depends on how much it overlaps with what you currently do. So if you're already a data analyst, you don't need to do a boot camp to become a business analyst because those roles overlap a lot. Now, maybe some extra education or something will help, but it won't take too much. But if you're in tech sales and you want to transition to cybersecurity, you're going to need to do a boot camp. If you're in project management and you want to transition over to, I don't know, if you want to transition over to cloud, cloud engineer, you're going to need a boot camp. So it depends on what you're transitioning over to. If you're a sales engineer, you don't need a boot camp to transition to account executive or vice versa. So that's really what it's about. How do we get in contact with you? So either DM me on Instagram, LinkedIn, hit me up on those platforms, or join the community and tap in with us there. All right, Blue says, I'm in school for data analysts, but looking to get into full stack engineering. Are there any boot camps that you would suggest for this? There are a couple. I'm not sure one that I would say is the best. I usually try to recommend people towards one or two things that I know. I'm like, yo, if you do it and you locked in, you getting a job. Like, you basically guaranteed. If you do what you need to do, you locked in, you're gonna get a job. I can't say the same for a full stack development. So I would be cautious before I would even say something. So hit me up privately. I'll go through a few different programs and we'll kind of sort through like the different options. Yes, Shayla. That's a great program. Literally thousands of people in my audience and community have gotten into tech by doing that boot camp. Literally, you have a discount link for them. You want to tap in, use our discount link. Great program, phenomenal program overall. All right, y'all, let's get into the next piece of news because we are super short, super low on time. And I actually lost my spot, lost my position. Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, y'all. For those of y'all have not hit the like button, make sure y'all hit the like button. We definitely appreciate it. Much appreciated. All right, just a little overview of what I mentioned earlier. So while TikTok employees in the US might keep their jobs, even if the app is banned, the broader implications are massive. Meanwhile, lesser known apps like RedNote, which some experts claim pose an even greater security risk, continue to operate with little scrutiny. So again, y'all, so for a lot of people that are looking to tap into that RedNote app, do not fool with that. RedNote is low key what they try to say TikTok is, which is actually funny. That RedNote is, you can use RedNote when it's a bigger threat than TikTok. All right, y'all. So 2 pieces of news with Elon Musk. One is with Starlink and one is with Neuralink. So actually it's 3 pieces of news. So we're getting short on time, so we're going to hit y'all with a 3 for 1. So 1, Starlink is making waves in Africa, promising cheaper, faster internet access that could change the game for millions. So y'all, so Starlink, y'all know it's one of Elon Musk's other companies where they're providing internet access in rural, hard to reach areas around the world. So we're going to literally see in the next few years, it's going to be to the point to where, depending on your internet provider, you will have access. It doesn't matter if you're dang near in a cave somewhere, you'll be able to have internet access, which we know again is going to advance our world. There's a lot of parts of the world that barely have internet access, which is keeping them back from the just keeping their communities and those people back from advancements. And so that's one piece. The other piece, Elon Musk is calling for OpenAI to be auctioned off most of their ownership stake. So he's trying to take OpenAI down. And honestly, I'll be real. This is my quick thoughts on it. I'm losing respect for Elon when it comes to this OpenAI beef, because it's like, yo, if you're gonna beat them, just beat them. Like, don't play unfair. Like you could tell he knows he can't beat them, so he's trying to use the law and the government, his friendship with Trump, to take them out. So I don't like this new game that these tech giants are playing, where they're just trying to like snuff out their competition without actually beating them business wise. But again, this has been happening. It's not a new game. This is what they've been doing, where they'll like go to war with you, but behind the scenes try to find legal loopholes to take you out the game. Last piece of news with Elon Musk, Neuralink. So we literally just 3 different pieces of news. So Neuralink just crossed a new milestone. Elon Musk revealed that their brain chip has now been implanted in a third human being. So Neuralink promises to revolutionize medicine and the human to computer interaction. But critics are worried about the ethical and safety implications of experimenting with brain implants. Y'all, I want to know, do you think that Neuralink's advancements, is this something that's exciting you about the future of human enhancement? Or does it raise more red flags and hope for y'all? So again, y'all, Neuralink, I'm going to be real. Neuralink is the thing I'm most excited about. Like when they pair Neuralink with Tesla bots, I'm curious to know which one y'all think will happen first. Do y'all think exoskeletons, like think about the future. Do you think we're going to see exoskeletons be more of a thing of the future, where a person that's paralyzed or a person that's wheelchair bound will be able to get into an exoskeleton, an AI exoskeleton or robotic exoskeleton, and be able to control it, which already exists, by the way. I've actually seen videos on it. There's an exoskeleton that a person in a wheelchair was able to get inside of. But do you think that's going to be bigger, or do you think what's going to be bigger is people controlling their bots with their thoughts? Like, imagine you controlling a robot, maybe even walking around the city or walking around town, and you're able to put some VR on and be able to control your bot and like walk around town, maybe buy items from the store, go shopping, go to the mall. Like, do y'all think we're going to see a world or a future where that's going to be happening? Or you think we're going to see more of people getting inside of exoskeletons and walking around with an exoskeleton? Either way, both of these things are going to happen, and it's pretty crazy. Ash, what are your thoughts? Like, what are you most excited about?
Yeah,
all of this technology, because so much. Like, what is the thing? What are the top 3 things you would say that you are most excited about?
so I think there's going to be a symbiosis of human biome and technology. And so what I'm most excited about is applicable wearable technology to enhance our lifestyle. So imagine, non-invasive devices. So Neuralink is great. However, do we really want to have somebody drill into our skull and put something into our brain? So I will be interested into the non-invasive technology. I think it's going to take us a while to get to the point where our brains can, fully control the bots. However, the technology does already exist. And so it is going to be truly, truly exciting. I'm looking forward to unlocking new science. So we already know, about the semiconductor nature of melanin. And so when we combine that with wearable technology, the future gets really, really exciting. And so, beyond Elon Musk's Neuralink, which is going to unlock literal superpowers, I think that there are many ways that we can enhance our lives without the whole invasive procedure process, because who's in control of this? Is Elon Musk going to be able to actually, he would be able to, control your brain. And so, we want to have autonomy, right? We want to have freedom. And so there is a lot of ethical implications. And so, Cyrus, you mentioned an excellent point. I think it's really interesting when we think of Starlink. And so it's great that we're having new access to Africa. And so you're right, it's going to unlock potential in so many different ways. And beyond that, I think that you're also right when you said that Elon is being a hater to OpenAI. And so I see OpenAI having a competitive advantage. Number one, personalization. So imagine OpenAI, and this is a gym, dropping hyper personalized robots, something that, and we discussed this, a few chats ago, but that's how they win. That's how they dominate. Robots that know you, rather than competing with, Tesla robots that just, walk around and do the basics. And so Nvidia has the opportunity to dominate in this space. And so I like to say that we should not underestimate or undervalue OpenAI. I could also be a little biased because I would give OpenAI and ChatGPT the credit for allowing me to accelerate this process as an entrepreneur. And so all of us are able to leverage and use that. And so AI itself is kind of like a baby, we're training and programming this baby that all of us are contributing to. And the last thing we want is a little asshole AI. We want an AI that, has ethical principles, even if it does evolve to be more intellectual than humans. It's a really, really important time. And so I would hope that Elon would continue to align with at least morals and ethics, because he's the number one person who needs to withhold that. And we cannot, just because how powerful he is or just how many companies he owns, we cannot just let him do, whatever to destroy, our individual lives and world if possible. He has a lot of power. However, with power comes responsibility. He knows that. We all know that.
I love the non-invasive. I didn't. That's a thought that never even crossed my mind. Like them having a non-invasive version of Neuralink, where it's not
Yes.
having to do like deep tissue surgery. That's incredible. I mean, because the thing is, even the first person that got the Neuralink surgery, it's not operating at the level that it was at first. And so it's like, what are they going to do? Are they going to open your skull back up? And it's like, is it every time you need an update, they're going to have to split your skull open and hope they don't like damage your brain? It's like, that's
Right.
because we know that technology is constantly updating, and it's not just software, it's hardware that has to update as well.
Yeah.
So if they're going to update the chip, yeah, they're gonna have to find a way to make it non-invasive. That's the only way. But that's a really futuristic thing, because how do you have something that's non-invasive, but it's still able to go
Connect
through
with
your
your brain.
skin and your skull to
Mhm.
connect to the neurons and the
Yeah.
electrons and everything that's firing in your brain, to
I
then
love
send a message back and forth? Man, I mean, it's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Come on.
hybrid approach. And if I was to receive the funding, you guys, I would make it happen. Period. But we imagine, I think it's called like Atlas with J-Lo, and they had like this little ear device where it can control, like that may be a little bit ambitious. However, I think of like, maybe not having to, open up your skull, but there are definitely ways to be able to do that. And we need to democratize this power. So anybody who has ideas to build a better world with neurotechnology, robots, anything, definitely don't hesitate. You can
You know
build.
what? That actually might be it. Elusiveness said nanobots, and you actually might be right. Like at first, when you said nanobots, I was gonna start laughing, but I was like, no, you actually might be right, because they are heavily working on nanobot technology right now. There was a piece of news I was gonna report on last week, but I didn't, because we had so much to go over. And one of the pieces of news was actually there are robots that are literally smaller than ants, but they operate like ants, where it's like they all come together and they're able to do certain tasks. And literally, the purpose of this technology is to go inside of your body, literally in your organs, to fight off like certain diseases, to remove blockages that you have. And it's meant to be non-invasive technology, where of course, it's invasive, it'll go in you, but it's meant to like where eventually want to have it to where they don't have to open you up, but they're able to
Yeah.
find a different way for this technology to enter you, whether you're drinking it or you're snorting it or some other type of way for it to enter into you. And so that being said, that would make sense for them to eventually have like nanobots that can do it, to where you don't have to be cut open to be able to do that. So y'all can see it's so much going on. I want to highlight a comment that Lyric Studio said. Lyric Studio said, "Can you break that down, Ash? The semiconductor of melanin. How do you mean?" Y'all about to get her hype right now. Y'all about to get her hype.
As a matter of fact, if you want to speak about it one to one, I'm happy to share that. This is actually a scientific discovery that isn't necessarily, well known. I actually had to, conduct extensive amounts of research to be able to come to this conclusion, but I want to empower you guys with this knowledge. Melanin is electrically conductive beyond it being, protecting our skin from harmful UV rays. We have melanin, in our brain to protect us from dementia, Alzheimer's. You guys all know what melanin does, beyond accelerating wound healing, However, it is also electrically conductive at a semiconductor level. Now, that means that within your very own biome is power. So the next step is, how do we unlock it? Well, wearable technology startup with better boost. I guess if you see the vision, then it's a beautiful future ahead. So share the word.
Black attracts heat, so yeah, that's feasible. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot that our skin does. That's really
everyone
unique.
has melanin. Everyone has melanin, by the way. There's levels to it, but everyone does have melanin. So absolutely.
All right, y'all. So we're not gonna spend any time on this because we need to go ahead and start to wrap up. But I do want to share pieces of news that we're not gonna have time to go over, but at least letting y'all be aware. So Mark Zuckerberg recently called out Apple, accusing them of stifling innovation with their random rules. Meanwhile, Apple also is facing backlash over potentially phasing out Swift, their own programming language. So Zuckerberg's critique comes as developers are voicing frustration over Apple's rumored move to deprioritize Swift, a language it once championed for app development. Look, y'all, do y'all think Apple's dominance is turning into stagnation? Because I feel like every week we announce something that Apple was working on that they stopped. They stopped the Apple Car. They stopped their Apple Vision Pros. They're stopping their own programming language. I mean, the list goes on and on. Now, we know a company stopping projects is not a sign that a company is not successful, because most companies, including Amazon and others, they have more failures than they have successes. It's just we usually don't hear about their failures. But the thing is, with Apple, their failures are so public because they get to the point where it's a thing and they're talking about it in the blogs. They're like, yeah, this is the next thing. And then they stop it. And so I wonder, Apple again has a major foothold, but it's like even their iPhones aren't doing super good right now in terms of it's trending down in terms of purchasing. The trend is changing. People don't want the latest one. People are feeling like they could wait 2 or 3 generations. Even myself, as much as I'm into technology, like my iPhone, I think mine is the 14. And I'm probably gonna wait till the next one to get that one, because I think that one's the hardware is gonna be more suited for AI. And so it's like, I don't know, like Apple really needs to do something, because obviously they're going to integrate their Siri with AI. That'll help them a lot. But it really seems like they're tripping a little bit. So y'all, last piece that I have, Elon Musk, Trump, and Dogecoin. So y'all, Musk is pushing Dogecoin into the political spotlight, and it's raising a lot of eyebrows in Washington. People are like, hold up, bro, what are you trying to do? So Elon Musk's recent moves to promote Dogecoin as a potential government-backed currency has sparked controversy. While some see it as a bold challenge in the status quo of finance, others view it as a risky gamble that could destabilize trust in traditional systems. Y'all know Trump just announced his Trump meme coin. And so it's like, it's a lot happening right now. Like Trump just announced that he wants crypto, like he wants eventually crypto to become like the backbone of like our financial infrastructure in America. It's like these are huge swings and shifts that are happening really fast. And so I don't know, it's really crazy, y'all. It's a crazy time to be alive with all of the updates that are happening. How do y'all feel about Dogecoin? How do y'all feel about the departments of government efficiency and the updates they're trying to have happen? It's really crazy. So look, y'all, we're going to spend the rest of the time as we get ready to wrap up, reading y'all's comments. So let's see what y'all are talking about, Again, y'all, for anybody that's tapped in, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't hit the like button yet, smash the like button, punch it, kick it, whatever you need to do to make it do what it needs to do. So Always says there was an Amazon Prime TV show that came out in 2019 called The Feed. I think it's very potentially predictive of how technology like Neuralink and other VR implant devices could be.
Check that out.
What will iOS apps be written in then? So the standard. So basically, they were trying to create their own thing, and engineers didn't like it. They said it was clunky, wasn't good. So they might continue to use Python, C++, and whatever it is they're using. I want to assume I know what they're writing their code in, but most likely they'll just continue to use the standard.
Yeah.
All right, Nicholas says, if the algorithm hits smoother, then yeah, it can go crazy. I'm not really sure what you're talking about, but Teals says a company like Apple are too big to switch quickly. Think cruise ships versus small boats. Yeah, no, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, I don't think Apple's going to fall off. Like they're literally in the top 3 ranks of most valuable companies in the world. So they're not going to fall off. The thing with Apple, their revenue typically comes not what their revenue comes from, but they either acquire other companies or they force other companies to pay them a large percentage of money to work with Apple. Like y'all know in the App Store, Apple charges 30. Like if you become an app developer in the Google Play Store, I think the Google Play Store charges somewhere around 10% for you, maybe 5 to 10% of like the profit you're making from your business. Apple charges 30%. Apple charges so much. LinkedIn, I found this out with LinkedIn. I have LinkedIn Premium. There are certain things I'm supposed to have access to with LinkedIn Premium. I found out I can't get access to. And I found out that LinkedIn said, oh, if you want access to these things, you have to cancel your premium account that you bought through the iPhone app or through the Apple App Store. And you have to come to our platform and buy it directly from us. And it's because they're losing 30% of the money I'm paying them to Apple. So they're like, look, we can't give you access to everything because we'd be losing money. So you have to cancel your subscription you have with us, but you have it through Apple, and you have to come directly to us and just buy it from us. And then you can get access to everything you're paying for. So again, it just puts into perspective the loopholes of what these companies are. And we're talking LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is a multi-billion-dollar company. So you understand how Apple has these major tech companies like trying to find ways to make money outside of Apple because Apple is really they're like the mafia. Like and that's why a lot of these companies don't like Apple. A lot of businesses don't like Apple. And so that being said, they're making money, but it's like they're not making money when it comes to innovation. And so I don't know. Oren says, is SDET still viable, or should I reskill? No, SDET is amazing. Yeah, SDET, QA engineering, QA automation, all of that. And it lines up perfectly with AI and everything that's happening in the AI wave. I mean, we're talking about AI and all these different AI companies and startups. Like they need AI automation to be able to do the quality, check the quality assurance of their tech and what it's doing, because they could run into all type of cybersecurity issues. They could run into issues where, again, they're not checking the quality of how their technology is performing and the threats that it can pose. So that's a phenomenal field. Elusiveness, yes, the American dollar is the number one conversion, but digital currency is being the front runner in the regard. Yeah. All right, Dr. Savant, I'm just now tuning into GRC, still something worth getting into. Yeah, GRC is still great. That's still a great space in cybersecurity. All right, so look, a lot of news we covered today, a lot more that we could have talked about, but we don't have the time to. Ash, would love to hear from you as we go ahead and wrap up. Would love to hear from you. Just kind of last words you want to leave everybody with.
Yeah, so you guys, run, do not walk into tech. There's no better time. So tap the links in bio. If you're interested in transitioning, tap into the link with me. If you already know where you want to go, most definitely tap into the bootcamp links. Again, we're looking at tech sales being the most lucrative opportunity on the market, period, at actually a 61% growth rate. So also, without further ado, the future is here, the future is now. Wearable technology. I don't want you guys to miss out on this wave. So augmented reality, as we discussed, if you do want to try this out, we do have our Nova X glasses. I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in the chat. But other than that, you guys, this is the best time to position yourself to win and dominate. Everyone else is being left behind. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. However, it's our job to be able to help you and guide you. So tap in. Without further ado. Thank you.
Hey, love y'all so much. Love y'all. If you ain't hit the like button yet, make sure you hit the like button before you leave out. Make sure y'all tap in with betterboost.co. So that way you can tap in with the wearable technology that is been founded and created by Ash. So love y'all. Y'all have a blessed and beautiful evening. If y'all don't get the chance to click on the link, for those of y'all that are watching this later, just tap in with her on her Instagram. Go to the description down below, tap in with the link, and that way you can get access to her and wearable technology. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Y'all have a blessed weekend.